It's no surprise that Walt Disney Studios Park is undergoing a massive multi-year expansion. About 3 months ago, I made a video going over the construction of Frozen, the lake, and Promenade, and discussed some rumors that may make their way into a reality. Today, we have newly released information and blueprints for one very mysterious part of the concept, which allows us to further understand how it will play out. Not only that though, as construction is moving full speed ahead and we can now see many changes being made in this new horizon. So let's explore everything new about Walt Disney Studios 2.0.
Oh boy!
Let's start with the new info. It was rumored way back then that Tiana's would be making an appearance around the new lake. This is the famous restaurant from the Princess and the Frog movie. Documents showing exactly this were released not too long ago on Twitter, but unfortunately they were cancelled. Before going over the new plans, let's see what could have been. You would be able to find this in front of the other massive table service restaurant that's being built at the right side of the promenade, and it would have been very similar to the one seen in the movie. Here in the master plan, it's easy to understand the layout, with the dining hall, kitchen, and in the back, the entertainment support. Now this could be two things: support for live entertainment in the restaurant, with possibly bands, jazz, etc., or support for the shows being produced for the lake. I'm saying this because on top of the restaurant, there would be a control room for these lake shows. Control rooms like this exist in the Disneyland Park hub and in production courtyard, and are essential for the shows to work, like Illuminations and the new Avengers show. And this would be the perfect place for this to be placed. Now, as I said, this has unfortunately been cancelled and replaced with a new restaurant, which we can now also take a look at in these images. OutsidEars made a great article revealing this information, and we can now click in the last piece of the puzzle. Well, not exactly, because we still have no idea about what will be happening with the third land, but still this allows us to complete the first part of the puzzle. In older plans, this whole section of the expansion was still to be revealed, but now it's here. With Tiana's now cancelled, guests will discover what these plans call the East Pavilion. Inside this Art Nouveau building will be offered snacks and takeaway food, as most of the building will be used for an array of other things, such as bathrooms, technical storage, character dressing rooms, and backstage and cast exclusive rooms, and, on top of all that, an ATM. But one thing that has remained from the original Tiana's plans was the control room for the future lake shows. This will now be placed inside this very beautiful turret. From the plans, we can also see that the building will be surrounded by a big terrace, which will probably be filled with tables and chairs for people to enjoy their food. Also, with this plan, we can now confirm that Avengers Campus will be connected to the promenade via this new path passing by the English-themed garden on the right. This path here connecting the pavilion will be walled off and only accessible by cast members, the same as this one coming from the top. Another small addition is what these plans call public shelter. This will be exactly what it sounds like, a covered shelter using the Art Nouveau theming that will be present all around the promenade. This will be very useful for those famous Paris rainy days. In these plans you can see exactly how the structure will be like, with two turrets and a big bench from one side to the other facing the beautiful views of the lake. That's it for the new information. Let's now go to the skies and explore the progress in the construction of this huge expansion. The last time we explored the construction site 3 months ago, I gladly said that Frozen had gone vertical, and today I am glad to say that it's emerging at quite the speed. Before checking all that's changed about the opening date, we still have no clue when Disney is planning to do it. And I believe that my projection of late 2024 or early 2025 could still be correct. One thing that I think is being discussed by Disney is to either open everything in together or in phases. In my opinion, it should be done in phases, and here's why. My proposal would be for a promenade with a tangle attraction, gardens, and restaurants to open along the lake, again in late 2024 from September to December or early 2025 around the spring. And then after this, Frozen opens in late 2025. By doing this, they would be able to not only spread the crowds, but the revenue as well. These additions cost a lot of money, and if they separated the openings, Disney would benefit from doing so by marketing and attracting more people twice. Now, is this happening? I don't know. We still can't tell because of how early everything is in the construction site. But by looking at this overhead image, we see Frozen, the lake, and the promenade, and Frozen is by far the one most ahead. Of course, it's also the one that should take longer because of the complexity of the land itself, with its restaurants, shops, and attraction. But even so, there's not a lot of development in the promenade area, with only the base of the big table service restaurant done and the whole of the tangle attraction dug out. So, I think this area will see a lot of change in the coming months, and hope that the situation gets a little easier to understand. Talking about Frozen, the overall structure continues to rise and shows no signs of stopping. Not only that, as we can already see that some of the tracks are being installed, which is a very exciting sight. If we look closer in another overhead image, we can see some bases of theming already being added, such as the Arendelle Marina docks, the castle towers here, and the Arendelle lighthouse that can be seen in this piece of concept art. By looking at it in another angle, we can better see the tracks that have already been installed. One part of these will be for the loading area, which will be in this first level. Frozen still has to grow quite a lot, especially considering the backdrop that will be the mountains with Elsa's Ice Castle. I'm very excited to see Hong Kong's version of the ride Frozen Ever After when it opens, because it will be very similar to the one we end up getting here in Paris. The lake has also been moving full steam ahead, as a lot of the docks, which will provide great views for the lake shows, have been completed. You will mostly find these in this section of the perimeter. As I showed before, the site for the Tangled ride, which will be a teacup style one, has been dug out, and we can now see just how big the new table service restaurant will be by looking at its space, which can clearly be seen in this photo. It's huge! Going back to the side of Frozen, we can once again see the bridge that will turn to allow equipment to go to and from the lake, and the technical basin right here. Unfortunately, there are still no updates regarding the third land. In 2018, it was announced that Disney would be building a smaller Galaxy's Edge with just a big e-ticket Rise of the Resistance, some shops, and a restaurant. This would still have been amazing, but it seems that it won't be happening anytime soon. I will do a video in the future about possible replacements that I would personally love to see, so make sure to be subscribed so you don't miss that. On a scale from 1 to 10, just how excited are you for this to open? Let me know down below. Remember to like and comment, and now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.